All right, thank you very much, Mr. Njau, for that interview. Now, it being a Monday, you know, we work with the sports. We won't talk matters sports. And Bernard Ndong is at the racecourse, where this morning the topic of conversation is sports horse racing. So we want to quickly cross over to him to find out what he's doing that side. Bernard?
Of course, Kirigo Ngarua, thank you so much. I can tell you for a fact that this is the first time that I'm actually on top of a horse, and it's quite nerve-wracking, but nonetheless, this horse is actually called Lady of the Moment, and I can tell you for a fact she's the horse of the moment. She's one who is actually carrying me for the first time ever, and we are indeed at the Ngong Racecourse here in Nairobi, and more specifically at the tail end of the winning post, where we'll just basically be trying to understand more about this particular sport that has been in the country for about 100 years, Kirigo. And I can tell you for a fact, you can see there are about 5 horses, and I'll be linking up with just a moment with Mr. Muindi, and we'll just be moving on ahead there, because I have to have the trainer, of course. This is actually one of the jockeys. Is Mr. Henry. He has competed for several years in the horse racing, and I will just be stopping in just a moment because I'm for a fact, Kirigo Ngarua, I'm a bit nervous, but I'll just have tried to ensure it. He tells me that you have to be very, very, very controlled, especially your temperament. You have to ensure that you're not nervous, because the horses actually can be able to tell when somebody is a bit nervous, and they're able to can be able to tick them off, and they can actually bolt, and that should make, of course, for interesting viewing if that actually happens. But nonetheless, we're honored this morning to have Mr. James Muindi. He's one of the jockeys here at the Ngong Racecourse in Nairobi, and he participated about a fortnight ago at the Britam Horse Racing Championship that happened here, the Guineas Horse Racing Championship that happened here. Of course, he won 3 races. And Mr. Muindi, first of all, there I'm seated right here. Of course, I understand that you have to be ensured that you're very calm, you're very collected. Why is this?
We have to interact well with the horse. You can see mine is a bit nervous. Because I understand that is a male and this is a female. Yeah. So understandably it gets a bit jittery. Why? Yeah, they are not kept nearby, because male will want to interfere with the fillies. Yes. We don't allow that on racing. Okay. We always, where they are racing, they don't interrupt. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting that this particular horse that I'm sitting on, it's actually 3 years old. One would not think that. What is the lifespan of a horse? Yeah, it's 3 years at the moment, and it will continue growing up. It still has 1 year to grow up until he turns 5. Okay. Yeah. You'll allow me now to just light it, and I think Mr. Henry will assist me here, because Kirigo, you have to be very careful that if I have to light down slowly. There we go, firmly on solid ground. I can feel a bit more comfortable, Kirigo. Yeah. Nonetheless, Mr. Muindi, you can just approach. Just tell us, as far as your career is concerned, where did your career with horse racing begin? Yeah, my father was a groomer. He used to take care of horses around this place. And unfortunately, I used to see his photos at home. Yes. You can see there the horse getting agitated, yes? Yeah, and I felt I liked the horse so much, and I told him I need you to take me there, and I'll start training how to ride them. So that's about a decade ago. I've trained for I trained since the year 2004. Yes. That's when I started. And I trained for 4 good years, yes, to gain the balance of racing. Okay. Yeah. If you can just join me, I can see the horse there. It wants to be a bit more mobile. You can just join me here. Yeah. You can just alight. You can just alight. Okay. Yeah. So what's the name of your horse? My name is the name of my horse is Kijana. Kijana. Yeah. I can tell you fact doesn't look like a Kijana. Yeah. Hii farasi kubwa sana. Ni kijana, ni mwenyewe alimpea hiyo jina. Mwenyewe ndo alimpatia kijana. Yeah. Sasa tuambie mambo ya farasi. Ulipanda farasi kwa mara yako ya kwanza. Yeah. Ulisikia vipi? Ukogopa? Mimi nimepanda farasi kwa mara yangu ya kwanza. Nakwambia nilikuwa naogopa. Mliniambia lazima niensure niko calm, collected. Inakuanga hivyo. Lazima uwe nervous kidogo. Lakini the more you ride unakuja una get better. Alafu uoga inaisha. Sasa vile ulipanda mara yako ya kwanza, hukuanguka? Nimeanguka mara mingi sana. Lakini nimezoea. Yeah. So James, tuambie sasa vile ukaanza kupanda farasi mara yako ya kwanza, ukaanza ku experience, ulikuwa unafanya mazoezi nayo, ulikuwa unafanya vipi? Ulijitrain aje mpaka ukakuwa jockey? Mtu ufikaje mpaka akakuwa jockey? Ni kitu inaenda na talent kwa sababu racing it's a different na kuride. Unaweza kuwa unajua kuhandle kukaa nayo kuride kwa gallop, lakini racing ni part nyingine tofauti na hii ya kawaida. Lakini inalingana na ile balance uko nayo kwa farasi.
Balance uko nayo.
Yeah.
So kama wewe ulianza, nasikianga kuna kuanga na levels tofauti. Mtu anaanza kama trainer, mtu anaanza kama mtu anzia wapi? Haswa position ndio ile mtu aweze kufika pale wewe umefika.
Mtu anaanza unakuwa good trainer, anakufanya unakuwa apprentice, kufunzwa kwanza. Alafu sasa lazima ukiingia kwa uwanja utafanya venye trainer na direct. Ukifika mahali fulani kuna ili uwe professional lazima upate win 50 in the ground.
So kama wewe sasa vile ndio sasa wewe umekuwa jockey, ulishindanga unaanza kuwa competitive lini, ulianza kuwa active lini?
Nilitrain since 2004 up to 2008 ndio nikapewa license ya kurace. Kwa sababu ile trainer niko naye Oliver Gray aliona niko sawa kurace, kanipatia license. Lazima trainer akiona uko sawa na uko na enough balance atakupea license ya kurace. Na sasa nikapewa, nika ride for one season bila kupata win. Ilikuwa hard.
Ulisikiaje? Unajua kwa at least umejaribu, ulikuwa kuna ile passion, kuna ile motisha, you are anxious kuparticipate lakini ushindi. Ulisikiaje? Huko give up kidogo?
Siko give up kwa sababu hata trainer hata kupea ile iko na chance. He will give you something to run first. Ile ya kujifunza kwanza upate balance, position kwa wakati mna race. Kuna venye zinajipanganga mzuri zikirace. Unapata hiyo balance, anaangalia kabisa venye unaendesha, akiona uko sawa hata sasa hiyo utapewa farasi iko na chance.
Vile ulishinda race yako ya kwanza ilikuwa lini na ulisikia vipi?
Nilishinda 2008 race yangu ya kwanza, na ile farasi yangu nilikuwa nayo nilitoka 1600 meters. Alafu ilitoka pande ya nyuma. Race ilikuwa kali, wengine walienda kwanza, lakini last 300 meters yangu ikaanza kuzipita.
Okay. Naona kijana anaanza kusema nataka kukimbia kidogo.
Najua hii sasa ni kanyanga hapa, anajua ni kukimbia sasa.
Sasa kama farasi kama hii tukiangalia ina miaka ngapi? Ile ilikuwa nimepanda ilikuwa na miaka kama 4, miaka kama 3 samahani. Iko na miaka kama ngapi?
Iko na miaka 3, miaka 4, miaka 4 vetri. Na kuna wengine wako na 2 years, wanaanza kurace wakiwa na 2 years. Sasa huyo ameweza kushinda mara 2.
Nafikia naona hizi kama zinataka kukimbia, unazaambia wao wengine labda wajiandae watuone wakifanya tu kidogo kama dami ile kidogo vile wanakimbianga kidogo. Of course you can see this is just about 5 horses. They just been doing their trotting in the morning. Of course just the practicing. It normally I understand it starts very early in the morning because the weather is perfect, the climate is perfect for them. So I think this is just some of the jockeys. I'll tell them just to do a small run just for us to see exactly what normally happens. We'll go at the end there. I understand this entire course is about more than 2 kilometers. It's about more than 2,600 meters, about 3 kilometers. So these gentlemen here, these are jockeys. Some of them are jockeys, and of course they'll be just showing us exactly how that actually transpires. Mr. Henry, of course, that's a horse I was on earlier on. That is a lady of the moment. I understand there's a horse called Black Pepper, and so if this gentleman can just go ahead just behind there on the background and just give us a feel of how these horses actually just go at pace, and for us just to understand. And back to Mwindi, you can tell us when it comes to hii mambo ya farasi. Kenya imekuwa ikifanyika, mambo ya farasi imekuwa ikifanyika kama miaka 100. Ukiangalia hiyo miaka yote 100, mbona horse racing imekuwa restricted area ya Ngong Race Course? Mbona kuja kuanga labda ikifanyika kwingine?
Kwa ufahamu wangu ninasikianga kulikuwa na viwanja vingine. Kulikuwa na viwanja vingine. Lakini hii ndio ilipatikana iko mahali mzuri sana. Climate iko sawa. Wakaonelea hii ibaki kuwa hapa.
So kama farasi vile nilikuwa umeniambia hapo awali, lazima ukifanyanga training hivi au jamaa walikuwa wanafanya kidogo, lakini nimeona ni kwamba labda hawezi ende kimbia nazo kwa sababu ya wanaweza kimbia nazo.
Wanaweza kimbia nazo.
So kama
wanakuanga hivi siku ya race.
So hivi zilipangwa hivi, nini inaitwa haswa?
Sasa hii they are walking. Kuna ile stores. Sijui kama unaiona uko hapa.
Naziona zile ziko huko nyuma.
Hapo ndipo zinaingizangwa, alafu zinaanza zinafunguliwa kwa at once. Alafu ndizo zinashindana. Zinakuanga different distance.
Different distance.
Yeah.
So kama hii farasi kama hii yako hii ina participating kwa ile distance, long distance.
Yeah.
Kwa nini? What is different about it?
He's not a sprinter.
Who's a sprinter?
Sprinter is the fastest distance. Alafu hiyo inaenda haraka sana.
Okay.
Hii ni kama marathon. Ile long distance kwa farasi kuna ile inaweza long distance.
Na ile ingine haiwezi, kuna zingine haziwezi short distance.
Sasa trainer ni atachaguanga, kuna vile calendar iko, anachagulia farasi yake race. Anajua hii farasi yangu distance yake ni itapatikana lini, itakimbia lini.
Okay.
Alafu kwa training anaipangia mzuri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kuna my colleague, my director is interested in seeing these horses actually racing. I can join these gentlemen and I can see them just doing a trot. They were doing a trot for about 15 minutes. I don't know if that is possible. If they can give me a thumbs up if it's possible, they can actually just do a small trot. If it's possible, they can actually do it. They have told me yes, indeed, they can actually do it. So I'll be doing that in just a moment, just to give us an idea of how exactly that transpires. And Mr. Mwindi actually will join them if he can, so that at least his kijana can actually be able to give his horse some movement, because he was a bit agitated because it needed some. Yes. And we'll be joined by a lady. I understand she's a trainer, and she'll be joining us in just a moment. She'll be coming to tell us exactly what it's all about, because you understand that when it comes to training, that is the key component as far as horse racing is concerned. And she'll just join us here. She's been a trainer for several years, of course, so she fully understands exactly what it's all about. You can just have the microphone and just introduce yourself. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Patsy Sercombe. I've been training at Ingong since 1974. I'm the oldest trainer, as you can see. I'm a bit grey. It's a wonderful experience. We've now getting many more African trainers, which is great for Kenya racing. At the same time, we had a tremendous day on Sunday, because we had the sponsors, Britam, who gave us a wonderful day, and they added a lot of stake money into the purse, and we were all very happy. There were a lot of runners for that race meeting because everybody was competing for the extra money. Because racing at the moment is finding it a little difficult to survive.
Financial times,
but hope we're going to get there, and we're all working together to try and introduce more people into racing. And without sponsorship, racing would not continue as well as it is.
Okay. You've talked about being involved in horse racing in the country for about 41 years. I think even actually 42 years. Definitely, you've looked at how it's grown in the country. What would you say was the highest moment as far as the sport is concerned? Because there was a particular point that horse racing was really big in the country. The stands would be full with fans and passionate supporters of the game. What do you feel was the turning point?
I believe the turning point could very well have come when a lot of the owners, who were mainly white people, left the country, left their farms, and then we didn't have as many horses available. And also, I believe that the Africans themselves believed that racing was only for the rich people. And this was actually not the case, certainly not anymore. I think we've come a long way, but we need to go even further to be able to employ more people. We do employ in this industry a lot of people anyway, but their families are dependent on them, and if racing does not survive, then we're going to have a lot of people that this is their profession, this is their job. Where are they going to go? So we really, really need the support, more sponsorship, more help, more money to keep this race course going for us.
You've been involved in training for several years, but of course 4 decades. Just for somebody, a layman who is watching and just trying to understand how do you actually train a horse? What are you looking at? Earlier on, I understand from the jockeys that their training sessions, they normally do something called a trot, gallop early in the morning. What entails training a horse?
We call them babies, the young horses, when they're 2 years old, and they've been out in the boma or the field, and we have to break them in, and that may take 2 to 4 weeks, and then we start to walk and trot them, so that they learn to have somebody on their back, and they have to learn to balance again themselves, because being galloping free in the paddock with nobody on their back, they've got to readjust.
Yes.
A lot of the early days of the youngster is to teach them how to gallop.
Yes.
And then obviously we start to canter slowly so that they get stronger. We do, just like athletes, conditional training. We condition the horses.
How does that happen for
well, some, we will do short canters to begin with, then we'll increase the canters, increase the number of canters and gallops, slow gallops, not doing speed work until these horses are fit enough, and then we start working them alongside other horses or increasing the pace.
Yes.
Bit like athletes really, but each horse is an individual and not every horse takes the same work.
True.
So as a trainer, you have to tell the jockey what to do with each horse when they're training. And they don't have to train every day. Some horses have a rest.
Yes.
Some of the days, just like the staff, need a rest too, because they work
so
quite
in a week,
long hours.
sorry to interrupt you, in a week a horse would be trained for what number of times?
About 5 or 6 times a week. Yeah.
So in the, what is the frequency? Is it in the morning? Is it?
We like to train in the morning because it's cool, and get them done with so that they can then rest. It just seems to be traditional everywhere in the world that they train early in the morning, you know.
And looking at it, it's interesting that I was being told that there are different, there are horses that they're sprinters. Kindly just clarify the categories that actually the horses participate in.
A lot of the horses, it depends on how they're bred.
Yes.
Whether their father is a sprinter or their mother is a sprinter.
So it's like dogs to some extent.
It's like adults. You know, it's like human beings.
Yes.
You know, you wouldn't expect Usain Bolt to run against Kipchoge Keino, would you?
Yes.
Because one is a sprinter, one is a distance man.
Distance runner, yes.
And it's exactly the same with horses. They actually have different muscles, which tell you whether they're sprinters or stayers. If
we can just, as we look at these horses as they're doing their trot, you can just tell us, we can begin from the back, the horse at the last. That's which kind of genre?
This horse won the Guineas. I know him. He won it last year. He's a very, very good horse.
Yes.
But he's such a good horse that he actually is able to win down the straight. He's not so good over the longer distances, the one at the back. But he's got a big back quarter. A short coupled horse. He's quite short.
Yes.
And he's probably more likely to be a middle distance horse.
Middle distance horse.
Yes.
Next one, the second one. Second from last.
This horse,
the one wind is on.
He looks to be a distance horse. He's a little horse. But he's won over 2,400 meters.
Yes.
A lot of it doesn't always depend on conformation, funny enough, but it depends a lot on the breeding and also what they show on the gallops.
Yes.
When we start to do short, sharp work, you can often pick up a sprinter because then they're quick into their stride.
They're quick into their stride.
And they're quick off, and they show a lot of speed very early on. And they also seem to be the better balanced horses. And they
what does that mean? Balance in what sense?
In a sense, they know where to put their legs properly early on as babies. They know where to put their legs so that you know, the guys riding them balance them properly, and then they pick up their speed and they can really run. Whereas your staying horses seem to take a lot longer to come, and they don't have that early speed that we see in the younger horses.
Looking at a winning horse, we can just look this side. For a winning horse, of course, James Mwindi triumphed a fortnight ago in one of the competitions, the Britam-sponsored event. What goes into making a championship horse?
Well, to be honest, you've got to have the makings of a champion. So when, as a trainer or an owner, you choose your horse, it's the luck of the draw, to be honest with you, because every racehorse is well bred. But conformation, they've got to have good legs, good strong legs, good strong thighs, good strong forearms. And they've got to have a good eye. I like to have a good eye in my horses. I don't like being bitten. So, you know, we have the privilege of going down to South Africa because we have a shortage of horses here to buy down there, and we learn a lot from there because...
You've talked about buying a horse. How much does a horse cost? I understand it's quite a few shillings.
Oh, well, it depends. You can buy something for 100,000 shillings if you're lucky, and it can turn out to be a champion. Like,
is it called a young and a horse called a fawn?
He was not very expensive, and he won the Guineas. He's a top horse. And you can spend a lot of money and get a horse that can't run at all. You know?
It's true.
But really, it's the eye, what you yourself are looking for, how the horse moves, his attitude as a baby.
Yes.
Breeding.
Okay.
Also.
Thank you so much. Thank you for just giving us some insights. Of course, trying to understand what this sport is all about. She's been a trainer for over 4 decades, and I think now it's again just a moment to understand exactly how the jockeys feel. And Mr. Henry, he can just come here. Of course, remember he was the one who was handling my horse. This time round the roles have changed, and if I can just ask him to just alight from the horse and just of course just try to give us an understanding of how where he began this love for riding this particular animal. He's been doing this for about 17 years. I understand of course this is lady of the moment, this is the horse that he's using. And Bwana Henry, tuambie mtu wewe kama wewe mambo ya farasi ulianzia wapi? Nini kafanya uanze kupanda farasi ukaanza kuwa jockey? Ulianzia wapi?
Nilianza na my dad. My dad was in horses, and horses was his life until he started a hotel business. So, and then I started with him. He taught me when I was small, and I grew up with it ever since.
Maraka ya kwanza kupanda farasi, weren't you nervous? Uliogopa kidogo? Muhindi alisema yeye kuogopa sana. Wewe je, ulisikia hivyo kweli?
No, my first time I was put on a horse, I think I was 4 years old by my dad. So we become accustomed to the horses.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have the strength, you know, and the will to do it, because you know you're dealing with animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was just the madam that was talking about training, and they were saying that she has that eye. She can be able to tell a championship horse. Kama wewe umekimbia mara nyingi, what do you look for when you're going to participate in a race?
As jockeys, we have something we call the feel, and when you start. Yeah, in your hands, you know, when they are babies, you can feel the potential there. Not many people can have that feel, but once you have that feel, you, like Mama said, you know, when she has it, when you coordinate with her, you believe you have a true champion, and it comes and shows later.
So for somebody just trying to understand what this sport is all about, I can see here that there are certain contraptions here. Unaona vitu zingine ziko hapa imefungwa. Unaweza kufundisha tuambie hii ni nini? Hii kile umeshikilia, kofia, naona uko na miwani kidogo. Labda tuanze na hii kamba hapa, nini inasaidia na nini?
This is called the bridle.
Bridle,
and this metal is called the bit. Is what controls the horse, left and right, with a steering wheel here, you know, the long one. And this is the noseband.
Yes.
And this is the cross noseband.
Cross noseband. Yeah. What does that do?
This prevents the horses. Some horses tend to be keen. Some of them are a bit strong and they pull.
Okay.
So it prevents opening the mouth a lot.
Okay.
And you have more control.
You have more control.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course the saddle is self-explanatory.
Yeah. You have the saddle there.
Yes.
And you have the helmet. Of course, you need it for safety.
Yes.
And the goggles are for when you're racing.
Because of the wind.
Because of the wind. And
talking of speed, because of course you're going at fast paces.
Yeah.
How fast does a horse go?
A horse
average,
I think within a few minutes you can get up to, if I'm not wrong, about 100, 120.
Serious?
Yeah.
But I thought
because from 1,000 meters you go with less than a minute.
1,000 meters going in less than a minute.
Less than a minute.
That is a lot of speed. So, like this horse, I remember we were being told the different genres. There's ones that do middle distance, and there are other horses that actually do the sprints. This one, which one does it participate in?
She's only run once, and she ran from 1,600 meters, and she finished about 5th.
Yes.
And she showed us she's good enough for there. She was a bit race green.
Yes. But
with that experience, we're sure, and the next time she runs, she'll go a step further.
Aren't you just to show us exactly how you actually go on top of a horse? Because I understand that it's actually a particular technique. It requires a certain technique.
Yeah.
And you can just give me the microphone there, and then just as you're doing it, we see. I can see. I'll just describe exactly what you're doing.
Now you adjust the reins.
Yes.
And you hold just to keep the horse steady.
Yes.
And you've got your hand on the saddle there.
You have to have your hand on the saddle.
Yeah. And as soon as you're ready,
why do you have to have your hand on the saddle?
You have to. That's for pushing.
Okay.
So as soon as you're ready,
you
just jump up, you lean, put your leg across.
Sorry, just repeat that again. What do
you jump up, you lean on the saddle, and you put your leg across.
So there's a technique to it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Henry. Of course, now we'll just try and understand more about the sport, and we'll take another gentleman here. We can see the gentleman here with the colorful colors, and you can just join us here. I don't know if this is a middle distance horse or if this is a sprinter. Of course, just I'd like to just come and join us and just give us try and understand more about why you decided to take up horse racing. You can see that it's approaching me. I think it likes me. Yes, you can just come off. Looking at the other horses, sir, it seems that yours is slightly smaller than the rest. And first of all, just introduce yourself. And
actually, my name is jockey Jacob Lacorin. I'm a jockey and I'm a trainer.
Yes.
Actually, this is my best 2-year-old. We just bought it. We just have only 2 years.
Just put the microphone like this.
I'm still breaking him in.
Yes.
So he knows all about the racing.
I can see he's a bit anxious.
Yeah, that's why she's...
why is it smaller than the rest?
No, he's a baby.
He's a baby.
He's just about 2 years now.
2 years old.
So he's still on training.
Yes.
That's why I decided just to put her here so he can just have company with the rest, so she can get more education.
Yourself, you said you're a trainer and a jockey. Does that give you an advantage compared to the rest? Or everyone started as a jockey or began as a jockey, or everyone starts as a trainer first then a jockey?
No. First of all, I started as an apprentice.
Okay, what does that mean?
An apprentice means that you get trained by a trainer, just to know all about the jockeyship. And that's where I started, and then I took like 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
And then I turned a professional jockey. And I done a couple of trips.
Yes.
Here to Denmark.
Yes.
Been racing to Denmark.
Yes.
For 3 months in a row.
How did you perform?
I performed well. Been with a lot of places and winners. But and then I came back because I was just going for more experience for our racing here in Kenya.
Well, I guess for you, you were just one of the few jockeys. I don't know how the situation is in the country. Who travels? Who has that opportunity to travel? How is it compared? How can Kenya be able to actually reach the same level as some of the international jockeys?
Actually, when I went there, I just went to be having more experience as a jockey.
Yes.
So that I can prove myself.
Yes.
Here and get more experience. Actually, the racing from over the sea and here, the difference is we are all the same on the racing, but they got a lot of different tracks. So the jockeys get a lot of experience because of different courses.
Okay.
So we can race like 4 times in a week.
Yes.
In Europe, but here we just race twice in a month.
Just a moment, I'm seeing the horse getting a bit restless. What is this, a male or female?
She's a female.
She's a female. Yeah. So what is she doing with her right leg?
No, she just stressed a bit.
She's stressed
because
a bit.
I'm just holding her not to let her do anything, so she's just acting like I want to do something.
It's interesting that I was being told that you have to be very careful when you're handling the horses. I remember earlier on when me and my colleagues were just trying to set up for this particular transmission, we noticed that the horses, they do not want to see cables, they don't want to hear sounds, horses are very temperamental.
Actually, it's just the way they are a little bit more active.
Yes.
And when they feel something like that, they feel a bit stirred a bit, and then they feel like go more in action.
Okay. Yeah. I can see it's eating something. Is it hungry? I understand that the horses have different meal times. Just tell us, what times do these horses, like for this particular horse, what time did it eat? When is the next? Is it like us? I understand breakfast, lunch.
Actually, we feed them like 3 times in a day.
Yes.
And then there's a time early in the mornings. We feed them by 5 in the morning.
5.
And then we feed them by 10.
Yes.
After they walk.
Yes.
After they go for an exercise.
Okay.
Then when the boys just clean them and make them sure everything is fine, they clean the boxes, and then afternoon they have the dinner.
Okay. Yeah. So it's at 5 in the morning, at 10, that's a difference about 5 hours, and then the next time is about what time? The final
at 5:30
at 5:30 in the evening.
Yes.
Wow. So interesting kind of program for them. Why is this? Is it specific? Is it something that is the rule, or is it
it's just a rule because we need them to have that good digestion.
Yes.
So instead of feeding them more at once,
yes.
So you feed them slow by portions.
Okay.
Like 7 kilos.
She seems to be hungry. Did she have breakfast?
No, she just seen the green grass and they like it and much more. Yeah.
Talking about what horses eat, for some of us, we've watched a lot of movies. We see horses in films being given apples. Is that the case? Is there a special diet for championship horses?
No. It's just like petting them.
Yes.
You can give them carrots, apples, anything just to make them be more friendly.
More friendly.
Yeah.
What is the strangest thing that a horse has eaten?
I think I don't think there's anything strange the horse eats. It's just only the food.
It's just specific. If you give it anything, if they come with biscuits, it will eat.
Sometimes some of them like it. Some of them they don't like.
Specific digestives.
Even they eat sugarcane.
They eat sugarcane.
Yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Of course, just you can go, mount your horse once again. We'll just try and interact with another jockey, and I understand that the horses are getting a bit jittery, so I believe that in the next 10 minutes we'll be winding down. You can see the other technique. Just to be very key. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And just step away. I can see she's a bit agitated. She's 2 years old, as you've been told. Looks a bit hungry. You can tell from the fact that maybe she had breakfast, but she didn't have enough. She's not as trained as the other horses. The other horses had their breakfast at about 5 in the morning, and it seems they ate well. Unfortunately for her, she did not eat quite well. I'll just interact with another jockey here, of course, just to tell us the gentleman can come here with the number 6. This is a very beautiful horse, in my honest opinion. I think one of the most striking animals I've seen this morning here at the Ngong Racecourse. You can just dismount and just try and tell us exactly more about why you took up horse racing. Can tell us your name first of all?
Yes, my name is Patrick Mungai.
Yes, Patrick.
Yes.
Horse racing, where did this love for this sport begin?
Okay, my dad is an ex-jockey.
Seems to be the same story for everyone here. Your dad inspired. I was hoping perhaps you could say you were standing somewhere and you saw people horse racing and you thought maybe perhaps you could try a luck in it. You were inspired by your dad. How many years was this? How many years ago was this?
That's talking about 9 years ago.
9 years ago?
Yep.
Okay.
And my uncle as well was jockey.
Yes.
And yeah, that's where I got my passion for horses.
Okay, you can just look this side.
Yep.
You weren't nervous the first time. Like I think for the rest of them, they told us that them were comfortable. For them, it was normal.
No, since I was coming racing when I was young.
Yes.
So I was I got to know horses when I was very young. So there was no problem with me joining the game. Yeah. So
Mungai, you started competing much earlier. About what age and how did you perform in those races that you took part in?
Yeah, I started racing when I was 17.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I took a few rides. I think my 5th ride I won on it.
Okay.
It was Open Sesame.
Yes.
From Julie McCann Stables.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was very happy.
You won it?
I won it.
Okay, how did it feel being crowned a champion?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. First of all, I didn't believe I won a race.
Yes.
You know, it's a hard thing to cross the line.
Yes.
And other jockeys were congratulating me.
Yes.
And they were telling me how well I won.
Yes.
And I was very happy.
This horse, this is what? This is a middle distance. It looks much more stronger, more muscular. Is it a sprinter?
Yeah, he does good in sprint races.
Yes.
Yeah, and he won the Guinness last year over a mile.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so this is a champion. This is a winner.
This is a champion horse.
Yes.
He's won,
it actually looks.
He's won 6.
And if my colleague can just come closer, just to look at the definition of the muscles of the horse, you can see there on the right there, the right hind. The trainer, some of the trainers were telling us they train like for this particular horse. Looking at how muscular is it? Is it genetic? Is it training? What is this? Is it diet? Is it a combination of all those factors?
It's a combination of training and dieting.
Yes.
And yeah, you give them time to grow a bit.
Yes.
And first of all, when they start training, they are not that big.
Yes.
So you have to take them very slowly.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will upset them and they tense and they lose weight.
They lose weight.
Yes.
So, like for example, this horse weighs like how many kilograms?
We don't.
On average, a horse will weigh how many kilograms?
About 500.
Just put the microphone up.
About 500.
500 kilograms.
Yes.
Wow, that's heavy.
It's heavy.
It's amazing how these animals are able to actually move with such weight. Is it also a matter of technique? Because I understand that there's a way you look at a horse and you can tell that its galloping technique is good for sprinting.
Yeah, there's that action you can look at, and
yes.
The trainers, they know their horses.
Yes.
And they look at them. The way when they're working on the gallops,
yes,
they can say that horse is not moving well.
Yes.
Okay. I can come in and say maybe I think it wasn't pleasing for me.
Yes.
Maybe I need more training.
Yes.
So it's a combination between
okay,
me and trainer and the horse.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Of course, thank you just for giving us your views and your sentiments regarding horse racing. You just rightfully mentioned that you had the opportunity to begin horse racing much earlier on. And as we wind up now, I'll just ask this gentleman once again just to give us another display of how these animals can be able to display a lot of speed. I can see Henry there smiling. He's anxious, he's passionate. The other gentleman, of course, we interacted with him. And I'll ask this gentleman once again just go for a final run as we wind up, for us just to see how these horses actually how fast they are. We understand they go over 60 kilometers. That's quite fast, and we will just to understand exactly what it's all about. Remember that as far as this game is concerned, it began about 100 years ago. It's been in the country for several years. You can see there that one thing we've learned is the fact that it's more than meets the eye. I think for somebody who used to think that the sport was just something different, and I can bring in another trainer, Mr. Noor. He can just be commentating and telling us exactly what it's about. He's one of the local indigenous trainers, and just to tell us more about what it's all about. Mr. Noor, just tell us, when it comes to race day, we're just about to see a race. Just look at the camera there. When it comes to race day, we can see the horses there going at the background. What does it entail? What exactly happens?
During the race day?
Yes.
Well, it's very tense day,
yes,
normally, because we have trained for a few weeks to come to that training,
yes,
to come to that particular day.
Yes.
It depends the distance that the horse is going to run from.
Yes.
But depending on any distance, it's all competition, because we have different trainers here, different owners.
Yes.
So, but as you can see, the horses, some of them look very well,
yes,
very well trained, very fit. Some of them have come back from racing last weekend.
Yes.
Some of them are trained now to go to the next weekend. So race day, you should come.
Absolutely. Of course, you've talked about training a horse. How many champion horses have you trained?
Like the horse that you just saw just now, the spring run.
Sorry?
The horse that you just saw here,
yes,
the champion, I've trained that one.
Yes.
I've trained few very good horses.
How do you train them? What exactly goes into a training session?
It's really it's just like training an athlete.
Yes.
You know, it depends on how the horse is training, how it's holding the training.
Okay.
You know, you might do a fast work one day, then you feel a bit tired.
Okay.
The muscles are losing or growing.
Okay.
So it depends really with how you see the horse is coming up.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for
very
just
much.
giving us your sentiments.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Noor is one of the trainers, and ideally it's been a very insightful and very informative outing here at the Ngong Racecourse here in Nairobi. Just got an opportunity to just try and understand the situation of the sport in the country. It's interesting to find out that actually there's more than myths there, as I rightfully mentioned. There are different breeds of horses, there are different categories that actually take place here, understandably, at the Ngong Racecourse. This is about 3 kilometers. I've never actually known that it's actually that long. That's about 3 kilometers. So it's about 7 kilometers shy of a 10 kilometers cross-country race. Actually, over the weekend, at one particular point, there was they usually host cross-country events here, and ultimately shows that looking at these animals, looking at these beasts, there's a lot of work that actually goes to making a championship horse, and ultimately it means that if you need an opportunity, if you want to actually understand more simply, and what I'll tell you is this: go to the races. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Bernard Ndong, signing off at the Ngong Racecourse here in Nairobi. Sawa. Sawa, yeah. Yeah. This is about
yeah. Nice. Right, thanks Bernard and the team that's at the Ngong Racecourse this morning, telling us more about horse racing. And like Bernard has said, make a point to go watch the horses race at the Ngong Racecourse when there's an event. This